Are you an Etsy beginner who wants to sell digital products on Etsy, but you don't know how to make your listings look professional? Then this video is for you. I'll walk you through 2 ways to make your mockups using Canva, and it's all beginner friendly. If we haven't met, my name is Jeanette. I'm an Etsy seller. I've made over $17,000 selling digital products on Etsy. So if you're ready to dive in and make some mockups, let's get started. So we are going to be making our mockups in Canva today. So the first thing you do is go to Create, Custom Size, and we want 2500 by 2500 and create new design. So what we're going to be doing is creating mockups for this invitation. Now this is just one of Canva's templates. You cannot sell this, but I'm just using it for a sample today. So the first thing we do when we have finished creating our invitation, we need to download this as an image. So we go Share, Download, PNG is fine, and download that. And that's going to save that on our computer. So once it's saved on our computer, now we come back into Canva and we go to Uploads, and we go to Upload File. We find the one we just saved and put that back into Canva as a PNG this time. Because this is a design file, you can't actually drag this into mockups. It's a different file type. So what we've done is save it as an image that we can now use. So why do mockups matter? Well, your product might be amazing, but if your listing photo doesn't grab attention, people will not click. Mockups make your product look polished, realistic, and ready to buy, and that can make all the difference in your sales. I mean, look at this. If you just had this image as your thumbnail in Etsy, do you think anyone would want to click on that? Or if it looked like this, I think they'd click. Do you see the difference? This one looks alive. This one looks real. And the best part of these mockups is you didn't have to go out and take a photo in the snow and rearrange the scene. A mockup will make something look real even if it's not. So let's start with the easiest method, and that would be Canva's built-in Mockups app. So what we're going to do is come down to Mockups on this left toolbar. Now if you don't have it, come all the way up to the apps, type in Mockups, and it will be the very first one right here. So you would click on that and it will add it to this sidebar. Now the first thing you'll notice is it is in sections. If you need phone mockups, you can come and use these. But today we're going to look at print. Now there are a few, like I said, most of these, and unfortunately they don't show in here which ones are free and which ones are pro. But there are not really many in here for what we're going to do today, which is an invitation. So just keep scrolling through. This one might work. So you just make it fit the screen. And then we would get an invitation. So let's say we want to use this one. We just click and drag it into the mockup. And there it is. And you can just swap this out, click and drag in another one. Now, this is probably not the best example for Christmas since it has seashells, but you can see how they work. So you would just keep looking through the mockups. And let's add a page. And let's try, if you were selling a book, you could use this one. Now this one you would have to put a background image. It doesn't have the entire scene, but you can see if you had a book cover, you could slide it in there. And here's one that may be suitable for an invitation. I don't know why they make them so small. So again, we would go back to our invitations, drag one in. And it immediately looks realistic. And you can turn this if you wanted. You would have to make it a little bigger, so it's more readable that way. And add another page. And you just keep going through them. Here's one. Same process, you would just keep dragging in your invitation. So that's one way. And as you can see looking through them, there really are not a lot specifically for invitations. There's a few if you had a landscape version. And if you were doing a spiral bound notebook and stickers, there's a few here. Business cards, there's quite a few of those. But as you can see, it's kind of limited. They're a great idea, but they don't really have many. And like I said, most of these you'll find are actually for pro users. So that's one way, and that's built into Canva. Now this method is a lot more flexible using Canva's photo library. You can turn any image or desk scene into a mock-up. So let's have a look at that. So the first thing you would do is come down to Photos. Now if you don't see this in your left menu, again, go up to Apps, type in Photos, and it'll be the very first one that comes up. So we're going to look in here and we're going to look up Invitation Mockup. Now these images, and as you'll see, a lot of these are Canva Pro, but if I just filter this down to the free ones, you'll see there actually are several in here that you can use for free. So these are not actually mock-ups, but we can convert them to mock-ups. So let's say we've got our boring picture here. We want it to make a little more lively. So let's find one of these images. Let's try this one. And we right-click and replace background. We can double-click on the background and make this fit in the middle. Now all we need to do is move. We just need to rotate our invitation so that it fits onto the invitation that's on the image. And there we go. Immediately it looks more real. So let's do another one. So let's try this one here. So again, replace the background and get our invitation. We can just copy this one, Control C, Control V. And we're just going to rotate it so it matches the orientation of the one below. And then resize, and remember, always resize from the corner so you keep your ratio. And you can zoom in and have a look. If you hold down the Control key, scroll with the mouse, you can zoom right in so we can see the placement. And you just keep moving it around until it fits on top of the one that is there. There. So there's another page done. Now if I wanted to zoom in on this, if I think the invitation's a little small, double click it, scroll back out so we can see, and just drag the corner. And then we can recenter it. And again, zoom in, Control, and then scroll the mouse. You can also zoom in with this. And drag it up to the top. Try and get it so you can see the shadow that they have on their invitation. Sometimes it's a little tricky if it's not the exact ratio, but you can get it pretty close. And there we go. There's that one. So you would just keep coming down and looking at the photos and just choosing one. Like if you had some artwork, you would make this one, replace background, and put your artwork right in there. We'll pretend this is some artwork. And you would just get it so that it fit inside the frame. Now a frame is not going to be exactly, we'll pretend this one fits. But you see, you get the idea. You can, so we can make it look like it is in that frame. So this is a really good way to make mock-ups using images that are not really mock-ups. And they do have quite a lot. Like I have these all on, these are filtered to the free ones. So you can see there's quite a lot of variety. And they also have blank ones like this, if we wanted to use this one. Now we have like a little ledge. So let's get our image again. Come down here. And put it up there. Now, we no longer have a shadow around this. So we need to add shadows. And now we need to go up to Elements we're going to look for shadow. And again, there's a lot of pro ones in here. So let's filter this by free in case you only have Canva free. If you have the pro account, obviously you can use the pro elements in your mockups because you're not selling the mockups. You're just using them to display your products. So let's have a look here. We want a shadow. Let's try this one. We're going to rotate it very slightly. We're going to put it behind. We're going to make it look like this is leaning up against a wall and casting a shadow. So we want it on a slight angle. And now we want to move this shadow. Currently it's in front of the invitation, but we want to move it to the back. So right click, go to layer, send to back. And now it's just behind the image. So it gives it a little bit more dimension. Okay, I have made this one for you. So I'm going to give you this. And I made this one. Going to give you this one. And I made all of these. So I'm going to put a link down below where you can download these. And you just do it exactly the same. You just lay your invitation on top of the image that's here. And if you want to zoom in a little closer, you just double click on it. Do it like that. Here's the one that we used up above. So these are mock-up images that I made that I will give you. And this one is not a blank white, but it works the same way. You just lay your picture, your invitation on top. I'm also going to give you these information mock-ups because you don't just want your mock-up, your listing images to be all the card. You need to let people know exactly what they're buying and that they can edit it in Canva, or if it's a printable, that they just have to print it off at home. And it's always a good idea to put a how does it work, because you may get someone who's not familiar with digital products. So a little bit of explanation on how they can get their product once they've purchased is always a good idea. And if it is an instant download, which digital products are, always have an image that tells people loud and clear this is an instant download, that nothing will be sent or mailed. So that is very clear to the buyer. So I'll include these ones as well, and you can edit these. You can change the backgrounds, the wording, the image, and just make it your own. So these are a good starting place for you if you sell invitations. So the link for these will be down below. So if you're thinking, this is great, but I wish I could set up a reusable mock-up that I can drag and drop into over and over, then you're going to love the next video. I will show you how to create reusable mock-up templates using Canva frames, and it will save you so much time when you're creating your listings, so keep an eye out for that video coming soon. If this video helped you, then give it a like and subscribe for more Etsy beginner tutorials. And don't forget to grab your free mockup set. The link is down below. It's a great starting point for making your mockups. And keep an eye out for the next video. We'll go a little bit beyond the basics and learn how to make a reusable mockup set that will really streamline your listing process. And if you're looking for done-for-you mockup sets, those links are below to my 2 Etsy stores. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.